In the year 390 BC, the young Roman Republic dominated central Italy as an unyielding force. But on the banks of the Allia River, everything shattered. A wave of Gallic warriors crushed the Roman legions, then marched on the city itself. Rome burned, yet from those ashes, an empire would rise not through vengeance alone, but through lessons etched in blood. Welcome to our channel, where we uncover the pivotal clashes that shaped civilizations. We explore the strategies, the choices, and the unbreakable systems that turned the tide of history. This story is not merely about Romans fighting Gauls. It is about why Europe never escaped Roman dominion, why a single defeat ignited a chain of adaptations that made conquest inevitable. To understand this, we must step back to the world before the wars. In the early days of the Republic, Rome was a city-state, locked in struggles with its Italian neighbors. The Etruscans to the north, the Samnites to the south, these were the immediate foes. But beyond the Alps lay a vast, untamed expanse. Gaul, the Gauls, or Celts as some called them, were not a unified empire. They were tribes fierce, mobile, bound by kinship and custom rather than rigid hierarchies. Their warriors prized individual valor, charging with long swords and war cries that echoed across valleys. These tribes had migrated southward for generations, driven by population pressures, fertile lands, and the lure of plunder. By the 4th century BC, groups like the Senones and Boii crossed into northern Italy, a region the Romans would later dub Cisalpine Gaul this side of the Alps. They settled there, clashing with local peoples and eyeing the wealth of the peninsula. Rome, still consolidating power after expelling its kings, viewed these northern intruders as a distant rumble. But patterns emerged. Gallic raids targeted Etruscan cities, disrupting trade routes vital to Roman growth. The Republic's senators debated, ignore the barbarians, or prepare. The pressure mounted as Gallic bands pushed deeper. In 390 BC, under Brennus, the Senones laid siege to Clusium, an Etruscan ally. Roman envoys intervened, but their meddling turned deadly. The Gauls, enraged, turned toward Rome. This was no organized invasion at first, just opportunistic warriors sensing weakness. Yet it exposed Rome's vulnerabilities. Legions arrayed in loose phalanxes, reliant on citizen militias ill-suited to the Gauls' ferocious charges. The long-term threat was clear. If unchecked, these migrations could overwhelm Italy's patchwork of states, severing Rome from its allies and resources. Rome's response was piecemeal at first. After the sack, the city rebuilt its walls, higher and stronger. But the Gauls did not vanish. In 367 BC, another band appeared, only to be routed though accounts vary. It reminded Rome that peace was fragile. By 361 BC, Gauls allied with Tiber, ravaging Latium here. Individual decisions shown. Titus Manlius slew a Gallic champion in single combat, claiming his torque as a symbol of Roman resolve. Such acts boosted morale, but they were not systems. Rome needed more discipline to counter impulse, formations to blunt the Gallic onslaught. The patterns persisted through the 4th century. In 350 BC, Gauls ravaged Latium again. Marcus Valerius Corvus felled another champion, his victory aided by legend a raven perched on his helmet. These duels taught restraint, wait for the right moment, exploit the enemy's bravado. By 331 BC, a uneasy peace held for decades, allowing Rome to focus southward. But the Gauls remained a shadow, their tribes fracturing and reforming, always probing. The 3rd century brought escalation. In 302 BC, fresh Gauls crossed the Alps, joining locals to pillage. Internal squabbles among them saved Rome, but it highlighted a key insight: Gallic disunity was exploitable. During the Third Samnite War in 295 BC, Gauls allied with Samnites, Etruscans, and Umbrians at Set. The battle was brutal. Romans faced a coalition, losing ground until consul Publius Decius must have devoted himself to the gods, charging alone to inspire victory. This act of calculated sacrifice underscored discipline over chaos. Rome emerged stronger, learning to dismantle alliances through targeted campaigns. By 284 BC, the Senones besieged Aridum. Rome's relief force failed, but a follow-up expedition expelled them, claiming their lands. The next year at Lake Vadimo, Boii and Etruscans were crushed. These wins taught logistics, supply lines, fortified camps, persistent pursuit. Rome began viewing Gauls not as raiders but as a systemic threat requiring conquest. The turning point arrived in the late 3rd century, as Rome shifted from defense to domination. After Sentinum, the Republic eyed Cisalpine Gaul. In 225 BC, Insubres and Boii, bolstered by Gaeceta mercenaries, invaded. They won at Thessaly, but Romans rallied at Telamon, encircling and annihilating them. This reversal stemmed from a critical decision: mobilize reserves, coordinate consuls. Why was this different? Earlier defeats like Alia came from overconfidence. Now, Rome anticipated, planned. The Gauls' charge broke on reformed legions' manipulative tactics, flexible lines, absorbing shocks, then countering. From 223 to 193 BC, Rome pressed the advantage. In 222 BC, Consul Marcus Claudius Marcellus took Mediolanum after slaying the Insubrian king in combat, another talk claimed. But backed by army reforms, the Second Punic War interrupted, with Gauls siding with Hannibal, ravaging after Cannae. Yet Rome endured, learning endurance, hold the line, rebuild legions. Post 201 BC, vengeance came. Bononia fell in 196, Placentia in 194, Mutina in 193. Many boy fled to Bohemia. Cisalpine Gaul was Roman, its integration teaching administration, roads, colonies, alliances with compliant tribes. But the Alps beckoned. In 125 BC, the Siluvi threatened Massilia, a Roman ally. This sparked Transalpine campaigns. Why now? Pressure from Germanic migrations pushed Gauls south, echoing old patterns. Rome intervened systematically, secured the coast, established provinces. At Vindelium in 124 BC, Romans routed Siluvian Vocanti. In 121 BC, at the Issa River, consuls crushed Allobroges and Arvanii. Gallia Transalpina was annexed, renamed Narbonne. This moment differed because Rome applied lessons, preemptive strikes, fortified bases, divide tribes. No longer reactive, the Republic built networks, roads linking Italy to the Rhone, trade binding loyalties. Tension mounted as these conquests bred resentment. In Cisalpine, subjugated tribes chafed under taxes, their warriors conscripted. Dilemmas arose: integrate or suppress. Rome chose disciplined governors and forced laws, but corruption sparked revolts. In 186 BC, Boy rose briefly, crushed. It showed restraint's value, punish leaders, spare masses. Transalpine expansion faced risks: overextended supply lines, harsh terrain. Commanders weighed impulses, charged like Gauls or planned sieges, as at in Tremont, where Siluvi strongholds fell to engineering. Conflicts revealed deeper strains. Gallic chieftains, proud and fractious, faced Roman envoys demanding tribute. Some allied, like the Aedui, gaining privileges. Others resisted, like Allobroges ambushing patrols. Rome's legions, now professionalized, emphasized training. Daily marches and entrenchments against Gallic ambushes. Scouts and formations prevailed. But dilemmas persisted: pursue fleeing tribes, risking traps, or consolidate. Leaders like Gnaeus Domitius chose patience, building alliances to isolate foes. The outcome unfolded through persistence. By 121 BC, southern Gaul was secured, its tribes pacified or displaced. Why did it work? Planning: scouts mapped routes, engineers bridged rivers, logistics, grain depots sustained armies far from Italy. Patience, no rash pursuits, instead wear down resistance. In Narbonensis, colonies like Narbomatis anchored control, blending Roman law with local customs. This system: conquer, fortify, integrate, turned wild frontiers into provinces. The bigger impact rippled across history. These wars transformed Rome from Italian power to continental empire. Lessons from Gallic charges refined the legions. The pilum javelin disrupted rushes. The gladius enabled close combat. Discipline became doctrine. Centurions enforced orders, preventing panic. This machinery enabled further conquests: Spain, Greece, Asia. By securing the north, Rome neutralized a perennial threat, freeing resources for the east. More profoundly, it reshaped Europe. Gallic tribes, once migratory, were pinsome Romanized, adopting Latin, villas, legions. The Rhine emerged as a frontier, but the blueprint was set for full Gaul. When Julius Caesar arrived in 58 BC, he inherited this legacy. Intervening against Helvetii migrations, echoing old patterns, he applied amplified systems: divide tribes, build alliances, siege strongholds like Alesia. His conquest of all Gaul in 50 BC was no accident. It was the culmination of centuries. Without early humiliations, no reforms. Without reforms, no empire. Europe under Rome became inevitable: roads, laws, cities binding a continent. This clash teaches that empires rise not on heroes, but on enduring systems forged in adversity. What historical turning point should we explore next? Share in the comments. If this story gripped you, like and subscribe for more insights into the forces that shaped our world. Thank you for watching.